So all those places we've mentioned, LUO DNA can be found, especially in places like Yemen, that I didn't mention before, and Oman. Chemically, the Blue Lotus contains a large variety of antioxidants, including saponins, the Blue Lotus flower, or the sacred blue lily of the Nile, scientifically known as Nymphea caerulea, is a sacred plant among the Luo people, and it's considered the first plant to have been planted as soon as Apollo, Podo, and Sar and the rest of the family arrived on Earth. Much as it's known by its popular name, the Egyptian blue lotus, our ancestors first cultivated this plant in ancient Mesopotamia and moved with the seeds to everywhere they settled, and it can be found as far south as South Africa, in Eswatini, in Zanzibar, Comoros, and even Madagascar, Namibia, Angola, and Chad, to name but a few. So all those places we've mentioned, LUO DNA can be found, especially in places like Yemen, that I didn't mention before, and Oman. So upon germination, flower buds rise to the surface over a period of 2 to 3 days. When ready, the petals open in the morning and close at dusk. Hence the Luo greeting, Oimore and Oyaore, which also coincide with the sun setting and the sun rising. Upon arrival, Podo and the rest of the group of 8 propagated the blue lily of the Nile, which is known for its sacred qualities, culinary and medical qualities. To differentiate its flowers from others, usually they have purple, pale bluish white, sky blue, or mauve petals. They're yellow in the center with purple stigma. The sacred blue lily of the Nile was used to crown Ruth and allow for passage into the ancestral realm to gain wisdom. This was facilitated by a high priest acting as the dot. So, in the pictograph, we see an example of Ruth at Payim, currently known as Fayum, going through a ceremony, witnessed and governed by the laws of Maat, Horu, also witnessed by Sobuk, then known as Yim, now we know it as Nyang, and Dot. So from this pictograph, we can tell that it was a ceremony conducted during wartime where the ruler was required to go into the ancestral realm to seek wisdom, and the purple lotus was made into a concoction given to the ruler to help him as he journeys into the ancestral realm. And this was conducted using the laws of Maat. As you can see, the first picture in the screen is Maat and the eye of wisdom. Next is the Ruth with the staff of leadership. And then we see Oru or Haru. And then there's the lotus, which is ground into a drink. And then we see Sobak, Yim, or Nyang. Next is Dot. And Dot always had an ibis head. So eventually it became the name for door. High priests were tasked with the responsibility of ensuring the alchemical processes needed for the different purposes of the blue lotus were carried out correctly. Sometimes they had to mix blue lotus of different colors in order to make a concoction. For example, in the picture you see a darker one and a lighter version of the Blue Lotus. So most information had coded messages, and these were passed through decorations put on walls to ensure the information was never lost through time, as you can see in the hieroglyphics. And in this case, we do have like a pine cone shape and the Blue Lotus. So this sacred plant was also known to have psychoactive properties that can cause hallucinations. So, besides making people hallucinate, this plant could provide an almost instant food source. It was chosen to be the first plant because it was used to measure soil viability by determining levels of soil oxygenation. Remember, at this time, most of the earth was a little bit swampy. The lotus has the ability to grow in almost any wet or damp environment. As they spread around the world, our ancestors took the lotus with them. They hybridized it and made it into food substances. An example of a hybrid lotus used as food is nduma in Luo, cocoyam, contomire, taro, or kalo. And this plant cannot be eaten raw. It has to be cooked to avoid calcium oxalate poisoning. Chemically, the Blue Lotus contains a large variety of antioxidants, including saponins, flavonoids, phenols, anthraquinones, anthocyanins. These are present in all parts of the plant, with the highest concentrations in the leaves and the flowers of the plant. The lotus flower is composed of alkaloids. So as you can see, it can be used for medical purposes too. And that will mark the end of our show for today. Please consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet. Hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. And share and spread the knowledge with your friends and relatives and help us grow this channel. Thank you.